Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ringside Cinema. I am Money Mike, and I'm glad I recorded this after SmackDown because the complexity of Seth Rollins' injury in the match between John Cena and Cody Rhodes has changed. Because it is now a straight fight. John Cena, Cody Rhodes, the WrestleMania rematch is now a street fight. And a street fight, that's a very hardcore, no disqualifications. That leaves Cody and John Cena very vulnerable. Some might say vulnerable to a cash in. If Seth Rollins' injury is a work, but what if it's not a work? Let's break it down from all angles here. You know, ever since Triple H took over, I think Triple H loves messing with the dirt sheets. It seems like there's a lot of info that gets put out there, and it's just a bunch of scrambled mumbo jumbo. And we as fans are left trying to figure out, is it true? Is it not? Is it a work? Is it real? You know, take for example, Alexa Bliss. Back at the Royal Rumble, we were all trying to figure out, was Alexa Bliss returning for the Rumble? You know, it was, will she, won't she? There was a lot of reports going about, you know, contract stuff. And then there was CM Punk. Will he or will he not return to WWE? And while both of those were true, CM Punk did return at Survivor Series, and Alexa Bliss did make her return this year at the Royal Rumble. Does that mean the crowd that is saying Seth Rollins' injury is a work is right? Maybe. Now obviously, you know, Seth Rollins has said his goal is to make sure CM Punk is never world champion. Now, that basically means that if Seth Rollins' injury is a work, he's more likely to cash in during the CM Punk and Gunther match, right? Because what if he wants to trick CM Punk into thinking he's injured and this is all part of the grand scheme? And he cashes in, CM Punk wins, he's world champion for the first time, and then Seth Rollins cashes in, oh my gosh, he faked his injury, he wasn't really hurt. Now, that to me, I think, seems to be very ideal for a lot of fans, is even Seth Rollins himself has said that he never intended to cash in at Night of Champions. He just wanted to prevent Punk from becoming the champion. And even perhaps a fake cash in where Seth Rollins' music does play, then you just have Braun and Braun come out and attack Punk, or Paul Heyman come out, provide a distraction. Gunther wins, he retains, you move the story along. But what's interesting is now not only is Seth Rollins kind of going, hey, I want to keep Punk from winning the championship. We've already seen him tease the cash in on John Cena. So he's teasing both ways, and we as fans were like, well, Naomi is definitely cashing in on Jade after she wins at SummerSlam. Well, we saw how that worked out at Evolution. So yeah, could this whole thing with Punk be a pivot? Because again, you have to remember, Crown Jewel is coming up in October. Crown Jewel is the one where the two world champions go up against each other. And so really this really puts WWE in a bind. Because what matches do they want to present at Crown Jewel? Because if Cena retains, then you potentially have Cena versus Punk again, but for the Crown Jewel Championship, or Cena versus Gunther. If Cody wins, then we get Cody versus Punk. Or if Seth cashes in, we get Cody versus Seth again. The first time since their whole angle from a couple years ago. Or Cody versus Gunther again. But the point here is there's a lot of things that could go out the window for the WWE if Seth's injury is actually legit. Because, yeah, we can sit here all day and talk about how it's a work. We can sit here and say, well, he's definitely cashing in now that Punk and now that Cena and Cody are in a straight fight where there's no disqualifications and he can just come out at any time. I mean, hell, Braun and Braun can just come out, destroy Cody and John Cena, and then Seth can cash in. And it's perfectly legal. Now, if he is injured, for real, then where does the WWE go? Because it's clear with Roman Reigns coming back on Raw. I have to wonder, was Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins the plan for SummerSlam? Because, number one, with Roman Reigns, his career is winding down. He's a part-timer. We need that final Roman Reigns Seth Rollins match. Like, we need that one final end-all be-all match between them two, right? No more triple threats. No more other people involved. Roman and Seth. And with Punk winning the gauntlet and potentially being busy with Gunther, I would imagine the idea was Seth being involved and helping Jay or saving Jay and Punk from a beatdown, which would then set up Roman versus Seth for SummerSlam, while Punk went on to face Gunther. But now, what do you do with Roman Reigns? If Seth Rollins is out, what do you do for Clash in Paris, Crown Jewel, Survivor Series? The severity of the injury really comes down to what can and cannot work for the WWE, because Paul Heyman did say on Raw he has a whole year to cash in. And yeah, poor Mr. Kennedy. That also makes the cash in work really well, is that if he is legitimately injured and we don't know how long he's going to be out and when he's going to show up, that means when his music hits, after he's recovered, it's going to be a complete surprise to everyone. And it could be just a random episode of Raw. It could be he could be out until Survivor Series. He cashes in at Survivor Series. Like, surprise, But again, you're looking at like implications of an ACL tear, which would put him out way longer, which could mean if he's out for like a year, at that point, what do you do with the briefcase? Because then that year that he's out, because you got to remember, Charlotte Flair got injured in December 2023, tore her ACL. She was out for a whole year. Same thing with Bayley, over a year. So that's, to me, when you look at recent injuries, you look at Seth, you go, well, he has a history of leg injury. He had a leg injury actually 10 years ago. And so you think, okay, now he's 10 years older. That means his body is going to take longer to recover. It's actually quite crazy that he's almost 40 years old, because I would not believe it if you told me. But he's older now, which means it's going to take longer to rehab. His body isn't what it was 10 years ago when he got injured in 2015 and had to relinquish the WWE Championship. Now he's older, but now he's got a Money in the Bank contract. And if that 1 year, if his injury is going to sideline him for more than that year, do you run another Money in the Bank match? Now, Seth Rollins was on the Rich Eisen podcast. He was hosting it, I believe. And he said that, the swelling was still there, so the doctors couldn't really really tell how severe the injury was, so he's had to go back for more tests. Which, if he's going to be out for a whole year, that would put him out until probably next SummerSlam, August 2026. And at that point, you have to really run the Money in the Bank ladder match to crown a new champion, unless somehow they find some way to where Braun Breaker can get the title or get the briefcase. Braun cashes in. Seth comes back and just wants him to lay down to hand him the title or whatever, and that creates tension between the two. But I was thinking in hindsight, if they could find out or they knew how severe it was, they could technically run the Money in the Bank match on night 1 of SummerSlam and still do the cash in, because Cena, as Cena said on SmackDown, he's going to be busy filming a movie for Netflix. Cody Rhodes is going to be filming Street Fighter, and haha, I see what you did, WWE. Cody Rhodes filming Street Fighter in a street fight. Haha. But with both of them being out, that pretty much means you're not going to have your WWE champion after SummerSlam. Which means, technicality, I would fully expect Seth Rollins to cash in on that match, particularly because of the fact that, well, they need a champion. And Cody's gone, Cena's gone, Roman's filming Street Fighter as well. So, yeah. So I would imagine SmackDown would have centered around Seth Rollins. You get the whole Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins feud, Cena turns babyface in the process, blah, blah, blah. Now, if they do run another Money in the Bank match, because that is a possibility here, if the injury is severe enough that he does miss the deadline of the June 2026 deadline that Paul Heyman brought up, then you run another Money in the Bank match, potentially at Survivor Series, that, or Crown Jewel even. That would give them something there, because Crown Jewel, you have both champions fighting each other, so you could do a cash-in right there. And that could be another way too. If this is a work, and again, there's so many things that have been going around about Seth Rollins' injury. Like, oh, it was planned, and he already had an injury, and oh, he was supposed to beat LA Knight. Then like Seth caught an audible, put over LA Knight, or it's like there's so many things going around. Again, I think Triple H is just messing with the dirt sheets at this point. But yeah, I mean, Cody Rhodes, John Cena being a street fight is not going to quiet the crowd that thinks Seth Rollins' injury is a work. Now, obviously, if it is not a work, then yeah, there's a lot of creative plans that go out the window, because if he misses WrestleMania, I mean, look, they're going back to Vegas for the second straight year, so there's a lot of things they can do to pay off what happened at last year's WrestleMania. So, and I would imagine that would include Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, if that was not the plan for SummerSlam. So, if he misses Mania, like, when he got injured 10 years ago, he missed WrestleMania 32. So he would miss WrestleMania 42 in this case. And he came back, I think, April 2016. He got injured in November 2015, came back in April 2016. So again, until we know the severity of it, we can't determine when he's going to come back. But again, I don't know. What do you guys think? I want you guys debate this in the comments below. Is Seth Rollins' injury a work? Is it real? Do you think all the plans for the WWE is going to go out the window for SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania? What do you guys think they should do with the briefcase if it is a long term injury? I'm intrigued to see kind of where it goes because usually when the WWE has their back up against the wall from a creative standpoint, they usually come up with some pretty good gems. So if Seth's injury does mean he's out for a long time, then I'm going to be curious to see what they come up with from a story perspective because this whole year, I think, was supposed to be built around him. He has a faction being built around him. Yes, it's kind of bloodline like. I know, I get it. People make comparisons to the bloodline. He has Paul Heyman, Braun and Braun. There's talk of more members coming aboard, and this was the year where Seth Rollins was going to be seen as the top guy. You have John Cena retiring, Cody Rhodes filming movies, Roman Reigns part-time schedule. Seth Rollins was going to be the guy for the WWE. People said he's playing second fiddle to Roman Reigns. Well, this was his year to finally be the top guy, eclipse Roman Reigns. Now that is all up in the air. Again, comment below. What do you guys think? Do you think he still cashes in a SummerSlam because it's a work, or do you think all the plans have gone out the window? I've been your host, Money Mike. This has been Ringside Cinema.